What's up, guys? So I went ahead and actually trimmed things up today, so not necessarily for the video. I just really need to cut my grass and do some weed eating here, so things look hopefully a little nicer than they normally do. Not much has really changed since last time. Obviously some more growth, very expected. You know, a little thing I've noticed is I do have some of my little Mexican sour gherkins developing here. I'm not quite sure how large they need to be, but they are growing, and I suspect something like this, if they're anything like cucumbers, it's just going to be exploding with them for the next couple months. So I do expect that. Not much really going on in the herbs and containers, although I did go ahead last weekend, and man, these hibiscus, by the way, are the biggest tease. I've had this bud, or these buds, for, I mean, like 2 weeks now. And just like everything else in this container, it all refuses to flower. So, eventually all this will look very nice, I'm very sure. But for now, it's just kind of annoying. I've got my baby's breath just looking sad here. And I did go ahead and actually buy a couple apple trees. These were at my local Tractor Supply, you know, a good quality place to buy plants. But this is, I believe, a Jonathan variety. Yep, Jonathan. And this is Mutsu. I went ahead and just followed the instructions that were on the side of the thing. You know, these were like a quarter, or they were, I guess, 25% of the normal price. And so I felt stupid not buying. You know, this one had a little bit of growth on it, and you can see some of that got sunburnt because it was so used to being inside. This had pretty much no growth on it. It may be dead, but there were a few little shoots coming off the base here. So I've just made sure to keep the soil nice and wet. We just had a really good drenching from the rain yesterday. So, you know, the Jonathan here, I'm going to put good money on surviving. The Mutsu may or may not, but I mean, they were like $3 a piece. I found these planters from my neighbor, had just put them out to the curb, wanted to throw them out. So, you know, it really hurts me to see something that I could use go. So I just decided to hop on that. You know, not a lot else going on. I did have, you know, this zucchini here, the last one to survive, I think may actually be dying. It just seems sad. It's kind of yellowing. You know, there may be some kind of disease taking hold here. So the new plants are doing well. I think that, you know, eventually I'll trim them or thin them down to just one plant. I got one here, a couple there, along with some marigolds and nasturtiums, just because having blank soil is not very good. Got my beautiful sunflower doing its thing here. So, and then you've got this yellowing here. If anyone knows what this is, I'd love to know. You know, I'll need to remove those fruits. I'm not quite sure if this is a case of vine borers. I'm not seeing any evidence of vine borers, so it may just be good old-fashioned soil-borne disease. You know, the raspberries, as much of a kind of disgusting shaggy mass as this is, you know, has been producing a few berries, and the birds will eat about half a berry, leave me another half. You know, they tend to get them at perfect ripeness. I've got a little branch that died here, not sure why. Back here, I did go ahead and do some work on this. So this had become kind of a mess. I do need to deadhead the roses here. So I've gone ahead and I remulched it. I got rid of just all the radishes. There was like some Virginia creeper, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, in the back, we've got the Canterbury bells. I've got my two Black Prince snapdragons, a couple lupines in there, kind of hiding some columbine. You know, these strawberry plants, which are probably going to end up taking over here. The rupture wort, which is a nice ground cover. I'm not quite sure what that is. It could just be a weed, but I left it. So I just went ahead and cleaned up this area. It was really bothering me, and I just kept putting it off because it was mostly decorative. I'm definitely more of a vegetable guy. So I'm trying to get better. And this rando squash, doing great. It's spilling over into my neighbor's yard. The bloody butcher corn is nice and high. It is now, you know, probably a touch above my height. And I mean, these beans, God, look at the leaves on these things. And they're just wrapping around. You know, we've got some flowers here. So, potatoes. I put a lot of completely random vegetable seeds back here. And, you know, just like anywhere else, the squash is doing really well. Amaranth will come up. There's some white bean coming up. You know, fun stuff. I'm just going to kind of skip the garden here. I didn't really do anything lately. You know, aside from just, I really removed the kales. I'm just going to cover that area with a lot of straw. And oh, hey, there's a baby bird. So I'm going to, you know, cover that. Let those artichoke hopefully take over. I know artichoke like a lot of water. And, you know, I thinned out these tomato plants. I've been slowly removing the, you know, the extra little shoots from the bottom. These black tomatoes I'm waiting to mature. These nice atomic grapes. Well, I've never seen a grape that big personally, but I have heard one of the issues with these guys online is they're a little hard to detect when they're ripe. And, you know, to be honest, they're not very atomic. They're just kind of purple and green. So, you know, good job seed company. You got me to buy them, but depending, you know, they got to really blow me away with taste for me to keep them, because I've had other cherries that, you know, or grape tomatoes that have completely blown me away. And then here, you know, bee balm and everything. I did go ahead and get some serious major weeding done, and you can see, you know, my sweet potatoes really taking over here. So they'll take over, you know, everything may kind of smother that hibiscus there. I believe that's my foxglove in the back. The moonflower is right up the vine, just as it should be. Probably going a bit into my neighbor's yard. But yeah, you know, this is a little more controlled. It's mulched. The fern is doing very well. The hens and chicks not so much. But I got a lot more weeding to do in my yard in general. I got some deadheading on some roses to do. But you know, everything's doing really, really well as far as production goes. So, pretty happy about that. Aside from that, you know, just a pretty average week here. Just really enjoying it. You know, I love coming out here and just hanging out. You know, even doing something like pulling a couple weeds is a treat for me. This garden has become like a nice little relax area. So, really enjoy it. Anyway, guys, till next time.